Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, May 16th. It is 6:14 right now. Market's gonna open in about 16 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. I think we had a news event over here at 5:30. You guys can see the big spike in candle. I'll take a look at news shortly and then we'll see where we can go from there. All right, just a couple of things more here to update. Looks good. A couple more things right here. All right, perfect. Looks like we're good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, perfect. All right, looks like we are good to go. I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. And then we'll get started shortly. Hey, Jake, morning. Morning, Andrew. Morning, guys. Morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, Tuesday, May 16th. It is 6:17 right now. Market's gonna open in about 13 minutes. Looks like people are still making their way in. Big news candle right here at 5:30, of course. Let me check the calendar real quick. Let's see. Hey, how's it going? Morning. So looking over here at the calendar real quick. So we had news right here at 5:30, which was CPI for Canada, core retail sales for the US, and retail sales. So basically all retail sales stuff, basically more inflation stuff, not necessarily directly affected, but relating to inflation. So it's negative right there. You can see price spike at 5:30. So we had news at 5:30. I'm just gonna mark that up right here, which was the news candle. I'm gonna go to this chart. So yeah, we had that news candle right there. And let me check if there's any other news events coming up as well. Hey, Martha, morning. All right, so we got that news event right there. Let me see what other news events we have over here. 6:15, we have capacity utilization rate. That already passed. So we got a couple more news events over here. 6:15, I'll mark that up. I don't think anything crazy happened from that time. Yeah, small candle right there. Hey, gosh, how's it going? Morning. Morning, Saren. Morning, iPhone. Morning, Martha. Morning, CJ. Morning, everybody. I got on a little earlier today just so that we can make sure we can cover everything. I don't want people to be caught last minute again. I did the math to calculate the pricing for TradingView compared to Saren said the spoon fed. Yeah, no, definitely. So I did the calculation here to identify, what the pricing difference is. So 33,284 minus 33,235. It's about 50 points right now, guys, for TradingView and FTMO. So that's a pricing difference. The other day it was 60. Today it is now 50. So I'm gonna try to spoon feed you guys as much as possible. I don't want people complaining about like stuff that I'm not doing. So I'm doing the math here. So if you guys want to put in your own pricing, it's 50-point difference. You know, if you guys want to do that, that's fine. If you guys want to put some pending orders for like the liquidity push, if you guys want to do that, that's fine. If you want to do it manually, it's probably better to do it manually. I'll try to be as, you know, as detailed as possible so that certain people don't miss the move, but we'll try to make sure everyone gets in on this. Other than that, we have news over here at 7 o'clock. We have Fed member Barr speaking, NAHB housing market index, business inventories. And that's about it. So we have news over here at 7 o'clock. I'll mark that up on the calendar or on the chart, actually. Right there. And I think that is about it. Let me check my FX book real quick to see if there's anything else here that we're missing or that we might need. CJ said, I eat with a fork, but I appreciate the extra time you put in, Sean. Yeah, no. So yeah, I'll try to get on a little earlier, guys. Typically I'm on right now at 6:20 because I don't want to have too much of a gap in between. But, you know, today I got in at like 6:10, you know, earlier than usual. I woke up at 5 o'clock today. So I made sure that I wouldn't get here 1 minute late or a second late. But no, I'm here to help you guys out. So, all right, we have news over here at 7, and I think that's about it. Yeah, so the news events here at 7 o'clock, guys, and that's pretty much it. Here's the clean chart. I'm gonna go and mark up this right here, 6:30 opening price, and then again right here, 8 o'clock, where our live session typically ends. So we got that right there. And then here's the more important area, guys, that you guys want to be paying attention to. This is going to be the liquidity that I'll be marking up. Hey, Pablo, how's it going? Morning. All right, so I'm going to mark up liquidity here, guys. Pay attention to this if you want to, if you guys want the liquidity zones. Thanks to everybody who showed up on time. But yeah, no, here I'm going to mark up liquidity here, and I'll go back and show you guys soon. So we got a couple areas right here. Right there, right there. Again, guys, most of these areas are not going to get tested. So it's not a huge deal if you guys do the daily. I just like doing it because it's, you know, for visualization purposes. Feels right to see the levels here that are probably not going to get tested, but you know where they are. Let me check a couple things here. Right there, right there. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Hey Nick, I saw you just joined the Zoom. Check your Telegram. Just want to give you a heads up. All right, guys. So sorry, I'm over here marking up the liquidity zones right here. All right. All right, perfect. So guys, sorry, I got a little distracted right here. I got some messages from the admin. So just keep in mind, guys, if you guys aren't active in the premium, don't try to join the room or don't ask people for the link because the admin will ban you. So I had to let some people know, don't try to like sneak into the room. If you guys aren't paying for the premium, don't try to sneak in. Just, go on the YouTube if you can't, if you don't want to have that. Because the admin will automatically ban you and you'll be permanently banned. So I just want to give you guys a heads up. So if I get a message from the admin and they let me know that, hey, we're going to ban this person, I'll try to let you guys know before you get that ban. But don't try to sneak in, guys. You're basically, you're going to get caught by the admin either way. So, all right, let me see what else we've got over here real quick to mark up the areas of liquidity. Market's going to open in about 5 minutes, guys. So I'm trying to knock everything out real quick before we get started. So I have all the areas of liquidity marked up here from the daily to the 10-minute time frame. A lot of these higher time frames don't really matter too much. So we have these marked up right here. And looks like we're good to go. All right, so we have all the areas of liquidity marked up. Going back down to the 1 minute. Closest area of liquidity is going to be right here. If it gets hit right now, I'm probably going to ignore this one right here. This level is probably not going to be too relevant for us. It's just too close to where price is currently at. It's probably going to get hit before we even get to market open over here. Question from B real quick. B's asking, do you personally set limits? If so, do you do it? You can't put limits through DOM. You have to do it manually through a pending order B. So if you use the DOM or use the quick trade manager, it's all manually done. So if you use the DOM or quick trade manager, when you hit buy or sell, it fills the order. You can't put a pending order through DOM. You have to put it through a pending order, which would be a sell stop or a buy stop, buy limit or a sell limit. So, all right, guys, market is opening in about 4 minutes. This is the closest area of liquidity right here. I think this is on the 10-minute. Yeah, that's the 10-minute right there. So, I mean, we'll see where price goes. I mean, I might not be able to set a pending order here because it's so close to where price is currently at. I don't want it to trigger and then I end up getting screwed by being stuck in the position. All right, guys, I'm getting like a bunch of side messages right now. All right, so I'm just going to focus on this right here. I'm going to close my Telegram. Nick keeps messaging me. God. All right, let me focus on this right now. Morning, guys. Morning, David. Morning, Ben Hartwig. Morning, Maria. Morning, guys. I'm going to focus on these charts. If you guys are sending me messages outside of the Zoom, I'm not going to look at them. All right, market is opening in about 2 minutes, guys. Closest area of liquidity is going to be right here. Morning, Shannon. How's it going? There's the closest area of liquidity right there. So it's pretty close to it. Not super far, but it is pretty close to it. So we'll see where price ends up moving when market opens. And then from there, we'll see where we can make entry from. So we got to pay attention to the charts here. Other than that, let's take a look at the fundamentals right now. Fundamentals are currently 100 points in the red. So they're currently bearish. Looking over here at the sentiment, is currently 52% short. So with that said, we have a neutral bias with regard to sentiment. We have bearish bias with regard to fundamentals. And then the technicals over here are currently bearish. So that sell might be fine. So we'll see what happens here when the market opens shortly. Let me see if I could maybe set something up here as well. So let's see if I wanted to put an order right here, 33271 minus 50, that'd be my entry price. One plus 50, that'd be the stop loss. Three. All right, guys, market is now open. We'll see where price ends up going from here. I'll just watch it manually because it's too late for me to put any penny orders in here. So we'll see where this ends up going. All right, so it looks like it's filled now. Here goes, price drops a little lower. It's kind of hard to follow to see where this is dropping to because it's not shown on the map or on the chart. So there goes, price drops down a little further. Kind of spiky right now. It's currently moving. See how far has it dropped so far. We're about 200 pips so far. Let's see if it drops down further. All right, I'll move my stop loss and profit over here. Move my stop loss and profit. I guess you saw the click. You guys heard the click right there. Move my stop loss and profit. It's gonna let it run through. It's almost a full TP. Let's see what it ends up running to right here. Got really close to my TP. Got stopped out. I got stopped out in profit. It's all good. Locked in 1,000 off that trade. So I moved my stop loss and profit to 100 pips right there. It's all good. I locked in partial profit right there. I didn't want to risk it because it was so spiky on open. Typically, like, you go straight to TP right away, but I just ended up pulling. So I ended up locking some pretty decent profit in. Man, MFF sucks. It's all good. So I'm not sure if anyone pulled out with me. I pulled out already, so I'm not in the position anymore, guys. I mentioned I was gonna move my stop loss and profit. Locking 1,000 on my FTMO. It's just too choppy right now. Typically, you want this to run straight to your TP on open, especially for liquidity. It was too close to open too. So market open, and then it was like right next to the, and I'm glad I pulled out. As you can see where it's currently at right now. It's just it was too choppy. So let me post up my profits over here real quick. I locked it in for just partial profit, like right there, basically. So I'll give you guys a little update for this right here. The slippage got to me a little bit, but it's all good. I'd rather pull out for some profit rather than have to risk it, because it's just, I don't like when the liquidity zone is too close to opening price. Like right here, market opened at this candle right here at 630. And then it was like about, 200 pips away. So just a little too close right there. A little too close for my liking for the most part. I mean, price might come back down, but I'm not going to risk it. I'll just wait for the next entry to come up. But liquidity there did get hit. It's a little too close. Nice. Yeah, Maria said she got stopped out in profit. Kenneth said he pulled out early. Madhu said he caught it. Nice. Looks like a lot of you guys here caught it. It's probably going to drop down to full TP now. Yep, of course it did. Or not yet, not to full TP, but it's going to be dropping a little further, it looks like. Let me just re-extend this out to see how far is it from that area. So we'll just follow it, but as I mentioned, I already pulled out early, guys. Pulled out for profit. What was I going to do here? give you guys a little update, send you guys my profits real quick. Yeah, this thing is it's just super messy right now how it's currently moving. It's not necessarily the best time to take this liquidity. Also, because a lot of the price is reacting to the news from this morning, so you probably want to hold off on it. The news was negative, so it was. I mean, that's kind of what's causing the choppiness right now because the news was negative this morning, so it's kind of just bouncing back and forth. I mean, trade's still technically running, so if you guys are still in it, we'll see where this ends up pushing to. Well, my profits on my MFF and FTM are pretty scattered, and I'll show you guys real quick. So there's no entries for us right now, but let me just show you guys. Partial TP. All right, so I made a partial TP right here, guys. For this, I just got it for portion of the move. Let me just copy this over real quick. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I guess I'm getting a ton of messages. I'm just kind of getting distracted a little bit. But okay, so here are my profits from that trade. I just made a 960 off my FTM number 2, 860 off my MFF number. Sorry, 960 off my MFF number or FTM number 1, 860 off my FTM number 2, and then 130 across all my MFF. So it's just a mess. Lots of slippage, lots of back and forth movement. I got stopped on profit. It's all good. Trade's still technically running right now, but I'm not in it anymore. So price is still dropping from where it's currently at. We're just following it now. I'm not in this position anymore. Yeah, a lot of choppiness there. All right, so there's no entries there for the moment, guys. Let me see if there's anything else over here. There's not even anything for here either, so we're not really missing out on anything. There's no high-low momentum scalps. This is the main liquidity that we take on open. It was just super choppy on open. You guys can see the news candle right here. This is basically what's causing the crazy movement. This big candle right here, right? So let me just mark this up real quick so you guys can see. So this movement right here is based off the 530 candle movement. You can see price try to break below it right here. That's where our liquidity push ended up dropping. The problem with this zone right here is the fact that our liquidity zone was actually the news candle. So this big spike right here was actually the news candle. So that's what made it a little bit iffy, because that spike right there was pretty much it was a manipulated push, right? It wasn't necessarily a liquidity zone that was created based off of normal market movement. It was based off this news candle. So that's why this right here would have been a little bit of a risky zone to use. Also, because it's so close to price on open. And that's why I was kind of iffy about it. So I think Tom over here is asking about the trade. So I'm not in this position anymore, Tom. I took it for a partial move right here on open. So market open right here, it spiked down. And when price got really close to TP, I moved my stop loss in profit. And then when price spiked back up right here, it ended up closing me out in profit. So unfortunately, I didn't get the full move here. It looks like the trade is still running right now. So it's about to hit full TP. And it looks like it's about to right there. Full TP on there, guys. So if you guys held it for the full move, it was a full TP. I'll just give another update here so that you guys can see, because some of you guys did hold it for full move. Some of you guys pulled out early. I pulled out early. I was too scared for that, which is fine. You know, sometimes if you guys don't feel comfortable about the position, just pull out early. Like for me, I pulled out for a partial profit. If I would have held on to it, it would have been nice, but it's all good. You win some, you lose some, right? Actually, we didn't lose anything, but you win some, you win less. in some instances. So full TP on that right there. I'll post my profits from that last trade. I just got a partial profit on it, and you guys will see the red strip because of the stop loss in profit. So there we go with that right there. So here's my trade that I took, guys. As I mentioned, I moved my stop loss in profit. That's why I have the red strip right here, but I do have profit locked in 960 off that there. And then here's the second trade locked in 860 off my FTMO number 2. And then huge slippage over here on my MFFs locked in 130, 130, 130. It's all good. And there goes the full TP there if you guys held on to it. So it looks like a lot of you guys here did catch it. As you guys can see, the strategy works fine. It just depends on your trade psychology, right? My trade psychology got all screwed up when price started to bounce around here. So what I did was I moved my stop loss in profit, which is fine. You guys can do that if you want, or you guys can hold on to the position. If you guys held on to it, it blasted right through TP. But I wasn't going to take that chance. It just wasn't the day for me to take that chance because I wasn't feeling right. And whenever you guys don't feel right about your position, just pull out of it. There's going to be other opportunities. You don't have to force anything. So, all right, looks like a lot of you guys here posted your profits. And also, like C-Seek mentioned, it's Trap Tuesday. So that's another reason why I was kind of iffy about it. If you guys are familiar with how the market moves, a lot of traps get set up on Tuesday. This was definitely a trap, as you guys can see. It trapped below, trapped above, and then it dropped back down to where it's supposed to go. You guys can see the fake outs here, how it played out. Trap down here, trap right here, and then correction right back down to full TP. Let's see. Maddie said, got my 1%, had some time before graduation. Nice, Maddie. Congrats, bro. Congrats on your graduation, even though you're not going to use that degree. Yeah, Maddie, he was talking to me about that yesterday. His graduation was coming up and he's like, what should I do? And I was like, dude, focus on what you're doing. So he's going to focus on trading full time and his other businesses on the side. So it's all good. I mean, I did the same thing. I graduated, went to law school, became a lawyer. I didn't practice law anymore. But yeah, Maddie, congrats to you. And we'll see you back here tomorrow then. C6 said, amazing. Got that 1% and grabbing your degree. All deserved, definitely. All right, guys. So we're back here on the liquidity charts. There's nothing going on here. Going back to the main chart right here, there's no high-low momentum scalps. There's a pending buy signal right there, but there's no entry for us to take because price is already broken, closed past pivots 1 and 2 right here. So we do have a buy signal here pending, but there's no entry for us to take. In order for there to be entry, we need that buy signal to be on this specific candle right here, but it's not there. So no entry there for any high-low momentum scalps. We'll keep looking for any other entries here, but there's just nothing for us to take right now. The next areas of liquidity is going to be up here. It's kind of far. So price is right here. Next area of liquidity is up there. It's about 1,000 pips away. The other area for liquidity is going to be down here, which is about 800 pips away. So those are the 2 next levels of liquidity. I'm not really taking any other levels of liquidity, as you guys know. I typically don't look for anything like that. I mainly just focus on what I have here in front of me, which is the first liquidity push. First liquidity push went straight to full TP. So I've done the data for the liquidity push, guys, for the first entry for a 1-to-1 risk reward, 300 pips. It hasn't lost a trade all May. So for the entire month of May, it's been all straight wins for a 300 pip liquidity push. All right, so we got nothing else over here, guys, right now. Currently, we have a new higher high getting established right here. If that's the case, that's fine. I'll just move this up a little higher. Here's a clean chart. So on the clean chart right here, you can see it a little bit better. So this is what I was mentioning earlier, guys. This right here, this low was a liquidity area. This was what made it a little iffy because this big spike right here was the news candle. We typically don't get that very often. Usually the news candle will push out super far or price will already push away from it before market open. Today, though, is different. So you just have to you have to understand how to adapt with the market, right? I think that's the main thing that a lot of people have a problem with. They have one strategy that they like to use, but they don't know how to adapt with the market when the market changes. Right now, market's kind of all over the place. So we are making our adaptation to it perfectly fine. All right, here is the opening price right here. Make some adjustments right there with this. All right. All right, I'm gonna scroll over here real quick and see if I'm missing anything that came up in the Zoom. Edwin's asking, what do I sign up for to learn how to mark up liquidity? So guys, if you guys want to learn how to mark up liquidity here, you guys can review all of the previous live sessions. I do it every morning to mark up liquidity. If you guys want to know a more detailed breakdown on how I mark up liquidity, you guys can go to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/KodiTaiTrades. And then you can watch the most recent mentoring session. So for the past 3 to 4 weeks, I've been going over liquidity with everybody. So if you guys want to watch the most recent mentoring sessions, you guys can watch it there, Edwin. If you want the tool, so here's the thing. The thing is that I don't know if you're referring to the tool, Edwin, because I think that's what you're referring to, not necessarily the video how to do it, because I do it every morning. But if you want this tool here to identify the high lows, how I do on the chart, you would need to have access to the indicators. So if you guys want access to the indicators, just go on the website, KodiTaiTrades.com, click on Kodi Kai Trading Strategies right here. And this is where you'll get access to the indicators so that you can mark up your liquidity. Because the thing is, if you do this by hand or by like your own direction, you're probably not going to get the same zones as me. I created this algorithm for that specific reason, to identify where people's stop losses are. So if you want that, Edwin, just go to the website, KodiKaiTrades.com, click on strategies right here, and then you'll have access to the indicators where you can pull up the levels. Because it's going to be hard for you guys to pull up the levels as quickly as I do right before market open and accurately. Because even myself, it was a little difficult for me to pick the proper levels, because so if I turn off this indicator right here, the high low indicator, you can see that there's a lot of different high lows that could be marked up here, right 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 here, etc. But if you turn on the indicator, it does everything for you. So you don't have to worry about it, because there's a lot of levels here that look like high lows, but they probably aren't, especially on the higher time frames. I'm scrolling down a little bit just to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Thanks, Patricia. I just saw your message there from earlier. All right, we currently have a higher high right here, guys. If price breaks and closes past the pivots 1 and 2 right here, that's technically going to be an entry for a high low momentum scalp. Let's check the overall bias again. So it's still pretty bearish across the board. So I wouldn't be surprised if price does come back down. Everything here is still pretty bearish for the most part. The 1 minute just had this big spike to the upside, and now it's coming back down. So we have a pending sell signal right here. This may be a possible, I think the candle might be too big though. So looking at this candle right here, it's dumping pretty heavily. The candle might be a little too big. So if it's too big, you might want to wait for the retracement before making entry here. Let's take a look at the fundamentals. Fundamentals are currently down 113 points. Looking over here at the sentiment. Sentiment here is currently 52% short. So the sentiment here is not useful to us today because it's not really one-sided. It's pretty much down the middle. Fundamentals are still bearish, and the technicals are still bearish as well. So the sell signal here actually disappeared. So there may not be entry here. You would have to wait for the candle to actually close, but the way that it's moving right here, it's going to be a little bit risky. I wouldn't enter it right away. I would wait for it to close and then maybe wait for a pullback and look for continuation back to the downside. All right, so no sell signal right there, guys, unfortunately. So there's no entry here, as you guys can see. The candle broke and closed past pivots 1 and 2, but the sell signal did not close. So there's no entry here for a high level momentum scalp. All right, now we wait for the next opportunity here to come up, but there's no entry there. As you guys can see, price is actually ranging right in between this area right here. You can see it better on the clean chart. It's just in a huge range right now. Price is just going back and forth between this low and that high. So it's in a pretty big range right now. What else am I missing here? Nice. Medusa, there was a lower low double body on the 5 and 10. Yeah, not sure if anybody caught that, but Medu identified that there. It was a huge candle though, Medu on the 5 and 10. Well, specifically on the 5. So looking over here on the 5, that buy candle was just, or the green candle was just a little too big. So I personally wouldn't have taken it. Let me see what it looks like here. Yeah, even if you went for a 500 pip move, Medu, it's still like way too big. That candle was like 1,000 pip push right there, it looks like. Yeah, so yeah, there was a V1 variation there, but it just wasn't not one that I would necessarily look at personally. All right, price is correcting right back down. It's knocking down pretty heavy. Next area of liquidity is kind of far down, so it's not anywhere near yet. Or I mean, it is pretty close. It's about like 300 pips away. Looks like that area of liquidity might get hit. I'm not going to take this trade though, guys. This candle is way too big. It's going to have to retrace. So price is actually really close to this area of liquidity down here. But as I mentioned, this candle is big, so price might retrace. So there goes the liquidity zone. Went straight to TP. If you guys caught it, great. If you guys didn't, it's fine. I didn't take it either. So I'm not going to be taking this myself. That was just way too big of a candle. I figured if it was going to hit it, it's going to have to retrace up a little bit. And then here goes the retracement now. I mean, price already hit TP, but the retracement is happening right after the candle, just as we anticipated. Glenn's asking, will you take the liquidity up top? Probably not, because the overall bias right now is still bearish, Glenn. I would still like to trade in the direction of bias. So the fundamentals are bearish, technicals are bearish, retail sentiment is neutral, but it's pretty much bearish for the most part. So there goes that huge retracement candle right there, as I mentioned, right? This is why I wouldn't want to take the entry here, because price is retracing super hard. This candle is just way too big. So if you were to measure that candle right there, this candle is about, it dropped about 900 pips. But if you guys took it, already should have went straight to your TP. I'm not in it though, so I'm not counting that as a trade. The only trades I count are the trades that I actually take. Back over here on this chart, there's nothing here right now. Specifically, price is still just going back and forth. Let's go ahead and take a look at everyone's profit so far. So we got Nathan over here. Nathan said entered manually, but had my TP stop loss set to 1,000 and 3,000, which made it 10,000 and 30,000. He tried to enter again, but he wasn't fast enough, moved his stop loss and accidentally pressed buy. So Nathan over here, unfortunately, it happens, Nathan, it's all good. It just happened too quickly. He got a little greedy here. He entered, well, he didn't, yeah, he did get a little greedy. You should have just called it a day after the first one, Nathan. But it's all good. So Nathan, he accidentally set his TP stop loss wrong. He was actually up 860, and then he tried to re-enter, and then he ended up losing because he moved his stop loss too early or too quickly. And then right here, he accidentally hit buy. So ended up with a negative 800, but it's all good, Nathan. It happens. So guys, if you guys ever make a mistake like that, just pull out on the first trade, right? Don't try to re-enter, because something like this can happen. But it's all good. It could have been a lot worse. Nathan only lost 1,600. He could have lost like way more than that, especially if his stop loss wasn't set properly. So it's all good. It happens. You learn from it. You bounce back from it. So let's keep looking over here. Kenny over here is currently up 380 for the day. Looks like Kenny had a bit of a, I don't know what Kenny was doing, but he was all over the place. He took like, so it looks like Kenny here did the same exact thing. So looking at his trades over here, I can see the timestamp for 6:30. He took the liquidity push and he made a pretty good profit on it, but he tried to re-enter again right here and screwed up on that one. And then again right here, and then he made a couple back. He just pretty much revenge traded his way down to 380, but it's all good, Kenny. So, just an FYI, guys, two people just mentioned that already. They kind of made mistakes here, and it looks like they revenge traded their way back into a loss. Nathan here had a small loss, and Kenny over here luckily made his way back, but he took like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 trades within the short period of time. So, and you can see where the revenge trades happened, because his first entry happened here at 6:30, and then he had like 2 more trades immediately right after. So just keep that in mind, guys. In the future, if you guys are starting to like get that itch to like revenge trade, just close your MT4, just don't trade. Because luckily for Kenny here, he did make it in profit, but he could have had a huge loss here if he just kept revenge trading his way down. Because he would have just, if he just would have stayed with the first trade here, and this is crazy because usually Kenny, he always posts his profits and he only takes like 1 or 2 trades. So to see Kenny post like 11 trades is, I can tell that he was like kind of in his emotions right here, taking trades. So it's all good, Kenny. I'm glad to see you're in profit, but in the future, maybe keep your finger off that buy and sell button. If you start to take like 20 trades, because I see you usually take like 1 or 2 trades a day, and you took a whole bunch today. Yeah, Kenny said old habits. It's all good. All right. Some more profits over here from Jonathan. His first account total profit of 252 for the day. He took the sell right there for the liquidity push. Great work right there, Jonathan. And then his total trades for the week, currently in profit, 2,932 for the day. So great work right there, Jonathan. Great consistency. He had 1 loss, but everything else is pretty much straight wins, and the loss was partial. Here goes Anelli. Anelli on his first account, total profit of 2,340. Looks like he took that trade from earlier, the liquidity push. And then his second trade over here, total profit of 4,150 for the day, full TP. Nice work right there. I do. We got Maddie over here, total profit of 545 for the day, all wins, up 1%. So nice work, Maddie. See you back here tomorrow. Here's Vince. Vince locked in the total profit of 820 for the day. He pulled out early as well. Smart move, Vincent. Did the same thing. Here's Kenneth. Kenneth locked in a total profit of 1,690 for the day. Took the same trade that we took, a liquidity push. Nice work right there, Kenneth. We got Andrew over here. Took it for 100 pips. Total profit of 1,080 for the day. Full TP. Nice work right there, Andrew. We got David over here, total profit of 106 for the day, all wins, took the same trade we took as well. Nice work, guys. So those are all the profits that have been posted so far. If you guys have more profit to post up, feel free to send them in. Otherwise, we will review other profits later. But at the moment, there's nothing for us to take, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and make some adjustments here for the lower low. So the range just keeps getting a little wider. It's not super wide, but it is a little wider. We have the higher high right here and the lower low down here. Price is pretty much going sideways now at the moment. I'll make some adjustments here as well. All right. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna knock off that liquidity. All right, so at the moment right now, there's not really much to look at right now. Prices just going back and forth. The next area of liquidity is going to be down here. Not one that I would personally take. As I mentioned, I only take the first area of liquidity. And that's pretty much it with that specific type of entry. Other entries that I might take would be something like high-low scalps, but there's no direction today. If there was a direction, so like, for example, here, if price was actually moving directional, like drop, retrace, continuation, then I would take the high-low scalp if it would come down right here. But I don't have that right now. So there's no direction. Price is just going back and forth. Not necessarily the best time to take these directional moves. If anything, the SR rejection scalps might be okay. But price is so far from that area. And you guys can see how this area right here is kind of screwed up because of this news candle. So this is actually one huge zone. And it's only due to the news candle right here. So I wouldn't even mess with this, right? This whole area is a zone. So I wouldn't even bother taking any type of trade. This news candle pretty much screwed up the whole market this morning because it was a spike in both directions. If it was a spike to the upside or a spike to the downside, great. But this news candle right here spiked in both directions. So unfortunately, there's zones in both sides now, and it pretty much engulfs the entire direction of price. Anyways, let me go to the questions here. So it looks like there's a couple of questions here in the Zoom. Let me scroll up real quick and see what else I'm missing. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, Brian said mentoring session on May 8th, about 5 minutes in. Sean talks about liquidity. Yeah, if you pull up any of the mentoring sessions for the past 3 weeks, I pretty much covered liquidity in detail. So if you guys want to go look at that, that's where you guys can find it. Jonathan said, no way I was going to take that. Oscar said he caught it, but he manually pulled out. Spread always getting me. Yeah, the spread's kind of wide right now, guys. Where it's not wide anymore, but it was wide earlier. So if the market starts to move a little crazy, guys, sometimes the spread gets wide. The brokers change the spread because they don't want to get caught in slippage. So yeah, the spread's okay right now. It's 140 on FTMO, but I'm pretty sure earlier when these big candles were coming out, the spread was kind of wide. So it's probably a smart move that you pulled out, Oscar. HP is asking, how do you know to take 300 pips or 100 pips for the liquidity push? 300 pips is only for the first move, HP. So if you're taking the first liquidity push that we always take, then it would be 300 pips because it's for a one-to-one. It's basically like a variation of the breakout, except we're using liquidity instead of candle strength. So for the first liquidity push, it's 300 pips typically. For anything after that, you go for 100 pips because that's just the normal liquidity push that you would take. So the only strategy that we take 300 pips for on the 1 minute would be the liquidity push on open, basically the first liquidity push. Everything after that is going to be just regular 10 to 10:30. Jonathan said re-entering is a scary thing. Yeah, I would never recommend you guys re-enter a trade. If you guys get pulled out in profit, don't re-enter a trade, because when you do re-enter a trade, you're basically just revenge trading at that point. Because there'd be no reason to re-enter if that hit full TP, right? But the reason why you're re-entering is because you made partial profit, and you're basically getting that greed. The greed's getting the best of you, where it makes you want to re-enter the trade when you know you should just hold off. All right, there's a news candle right here at 7 o'clock, I believe. Mark that up right there. Take this off. So we just had news right here at 7 o'clock. Let me pull up the calendar real quick. 7 o'clock news over here was business inventories, Fed member Barr speaking, and NAHB housing market index, all positive. So you guys can see here that price did the opposite. News is positive, price did drop. Nothing new there. And I think that's about it. Yeah, Nick mentioned that it went from 140 to 160. Yeah, it's 160 right now, the spread. So the spread is changing a little bit, guys. Just keep that in mind. Yeah, you just want to be careful. This type of market today is I probably would stay away. Unless like you see something really good, or if you have to really trade. This is not a good area to trade in because you're getting these big spikes in price. As you can see over here on the clean chart, it's easier to see. Market open over here at 630, big spike to the downside, fake out to the upside, fake out right back to the downside. And then now price is just ranging right here, or not even ranging, it's just consolidating. So you can see right here that price is actually squeezing within this area. So with price squeezing right here within this area, this is preparing for a breakout, right? So price will probably consolidate for a bit, as it already is. And then eventually the breakout will likely happen to the upside or to the downside, right? So yeah, at the moment, not exactly the best time to take entry, because price is just going to consolidate and range right here. Eventually will break out. You probably want to wait for that breakout and wait for the continuation or the reversal back in the other direction. Glenn said NQ is moving pretty smoothly today. Yeah, it looks like US30 is probably the only asset that's kind of spiky right now because there's no news for the tech stocks at the moment. I think the news for the most part is mainly going to be a lot of this. Well, I mean, everything is kind of down right now. The only one that's really heavy is the Dow. So if you can look over here, the Dow is currently down 173 points. S&P is down 12 points. And NASDAQ's down 13 points. Russell 2K is down 15 points. And the VIX is currently up 3%. So as you guys can see over here, US30 is the only index that's kind of going crazy right now. It's down 173 points. Everything else is flat. S&P is only down 12 points. NASDAQ's only down 13 points. So the S&P and NASDAQ are pretty much flat, plus the Russell 2K. So yeah, maybe stay away from it a little bit if you can. It's not really too necessary. That's my text message, guys. It's not my MC4. The last time CC thought that I was entering trades behind the scenes, but it's just my text messages. Just want to give you guys a heads up because I don't want you guys to think I'm entering anything. It's my iPhone messages. All right, so we got Maria over here. Maria said trading on a $175 real account, total profit of 150. Not bad, Maria. That's not bad for a small account because obviously, you know, your leverage isn't that high. Yeah, so technically, if you did this to normal leverage, like if you're on like a 100K account, it'd probably be up like 1,500. So yeah, you're on a small account, so profit's profit. It's all good. You know, that might help with your trade psychology as well, since you're seeing some actual money there. Okay, some news events over here from Kenny. Kenny sent me a YouTube link. Says former top executive of failed SVB and Signature Bank is to testify at the Senate hearing. All right, so I guess like a lot of this stuff is going to come to light. Basically, how did this bank failure happen? Here's Kip over here. Let's copy this over. All right, Kip locked in a total profit of 4,166 for the day, all wins. So nice work right here, Kip. Seeing Kip's been using that trailing stop feature. All these reds here, but all profit. So nice work, Kip. Yeah, the profits added up pretty nicely. Let's see. Question from Edwin. Edwin's asking, do you trade futures in your personal live account? I don't. I trade, so for my long-term investment account, I trade individual stocks. So I do trade stocks that are within the US30. So not exactly futures, but I do trade stocks that are within the index. So I trade like big name stocks, blue chip stocks like Verizon. I think right now I have holdings in Verizon, Cisco, JP Morgan. So I'm technically trading the future, but it's just the individual stocks. So yeah, in my bigger investment account, I trade bigger stocks like that, blue chip stocks. I just buy and hold. And then for my personal active trading account, I only trade Forex. So I use forex.com for actively trading on my personal account. Other than that, I don't trade futures on my personal account. I just have too many accounts that can't be trading like, 6 accounts because I can't have all platforms open. So for my personal account, I only trade Forex, and then my long-term account, I trade stocks. And then for here on my funded accounts, I just trade futures or indices, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing. Yeah, because if there was an ability to copy the trades from a personal account, a personal futures account to like my FTMO and stuff, I would do that, but I can't do that. There's no crossover. So I only trade US30 and futures on my FTMO and MFF. All right, there's nothing for us to take right here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I mean, price just keeps spiking around. No opportunities for any high-low momentum scalps. So guys, as I mentioned before, guys, the high-low momentum scalp is still a good strategy. There just isn't any entries for us. If you guys noticed last week, there were no entries like the entire week. And then all of a sudden on Friday, we had a whole bunch of entries, right? So if you guys remember from last Friday over here, all of our entries for the high-low momentum scalps came on Friday. There was actually no trades the entire week. We weren't really counting the liquidity pushes as entries until like Friday. So there weren't any entries for us to take, but these high-low momentum scalps didn't come until Friday. That were like down here, right? So the strategy still works fine, guys. Don't think that the strategy doesn't work. That's a problem with a lot of traders. If the strategy you're using doesn't provide entries, so many people are so quick to drop the strategy, and then the next week the strategy starts hitting again. So what I'd recommend, guys, is if you guys have a strategy that you like, just focus on that same strategy. If there's no entries, it's fine. You don't have to trade every single day. That's what the liquidity pushes are for, right? So if there's no high-low momentum scalps, you're still getting liquidity pushes here on the open. So that's why I kind of squeeze this in there, because this strategy actually comes up basically every day. High-low momentum scalps, it hasn't been coming up every day. I mean, there's been other types of entries, but no high level momentum scalps at the moment. Let's see. Andrew's asking, is this a pivot scalp running? It's pending right now, Andrew, but it's not closed yet. So yeah, if this candle does close, it's technically a pivot scalp entry. It's a very big pivot scalp entry though, as you can see over here. So it hasn't closed yet, but if it does close, it could technically be a pivot scalp entry, Andrew. Looks like it's having trouble getting past this area right here. Yeah, no, you're good, Andrew. So like, for example, if it breaks and closes past this area right here, it may be a triple confluence. The thing is, the volatility here is starting to spike very heavily. So you might want to be careful because when this candle closes, it can easily shift back up for retracement. So this might be a triple confluence right here. A lot of you guys look for this entry here. This entry comes up not very often, maybe like once or twice a week, but it always hits. The problem with this here is that the volatility is just extremely high. So you can see right here how it kind of disappears. Price comes down, pulls back, disappears like it just did right there. This is not a good candle to enter on. If it was a normal candle, great, but this candle here is not really a good candle to, and also the candle is too big. You can see right here that the stop loss is too far back. Not one I would take. If you do decide to take it, guys, I'd probably wait for a retracement and then maybe enter it a little later. And it's too late now. It already would have hit TP. So as you guys can see right here, this was a triple confluence, like I mentioned. Whenever this entry comes up, it almost always hits, and it just did hit right there. I would have taken it if the candle right there was not kind of too spiky, but it was kind of spiking around a little too much, so I didn't want to mess around with it. So guys, if you guys are not familiar with the triple confluence, a lot of you guys are familiar with it, but if you guys are new here, you guys probably don't know it. The triple confluence is a strategy. It's basically 3 strategies in one. So I can't even find it on here. Where is it at? Oh, there we go. Triple confluence. So confirm overall bias. It's bearish. Confirm a valid momentum signal. There's a sell signal right here. It's valid. Confirm the signal matches the trend meter. Trend meter down below is red. I already knew it was red before even looking at it. Confirm price is above or below pivots for a sell or for a buy. Price is below the pivots here. Confirm price is breaking, closing past pivots, high low. There's a high low right here. So you'd enter right there and that'd be a triple confluence. So I know a lot of you guys, this is one of your favorites. If you guys remember the strategy, we used to apply the strategy a lot I think last year or 2 years ago. We've been applying this for like 2 years. This strategy hasn't lost one time. I probably should have taken it, but I don't want to take that risk. I'm happy with my profits for the day, even though I only got partial. The market's just kind of screwed up today, so I'm not really looking to take anything too risky. But yeah, triple confluence right there off that entry. It was also a pivot scalp, like Andrew mentioned, but not one I would personally take, even though it does hit TP. So you guys can see here that even though the trade hits TP, I still stick to my game plan. If I'm not comfortable with the position, I don't take it. So I think that's the thing that a lot of people need to realize too, is that you need to go with your gut sometimes. If your gut's telling you not to take a trade, don't take it. Because the last thing you want to do is be pissed off and stressed out about taking a position you should have avoided. All right, so there's nothing for us to take right here, guys. Unfortunately, if there's any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to keep looking for entries here. Hopefully we'll find something. If not, then it's all good. Nice, Sisu. I just saw your messages in the chat. Yeah, you look for the retest of the liquidity down there. Yeah, Jonathan said trader instinct is real. Yeah, that's really what it is, guys. You guys have to go with your intuition. If you don't feel right about a position, don't take it. If you feel right about a position, even if there's like nothing there, then in some instances take it. As long as your intuition is right. All right, so price is kind of bouncing around this area, nothing for us to take. Here's the clean chart. Yeah, it did, Nick. So Nick over here mentioned, he said, I think it spiked through liquidity as well. Yeah, it did right there. So this was the next level of liquidity right here. So there's a lot of confluences here. Price spiked through it. And then also It was basically like there was a lot of confluences here. There was a pivot scalp right here. It was a triple confluence right here. It was reaching liquidity. As soon as it got to liquidity right here, it spiked right through. So there's a lot of opportunities here that you guys could have taken, as you guys can see. So if you guys have my indicators and my strategies, you guys can apply these strategies on your own. For me personally, on these live sessions, I'm a little bit more conservative because I don't want you guys to be taking too risky trades. My main goal here is to make sure that you guys are profitable. As long as you guys follow directions and only take what's quality, then you guys should have no problem, being profitable and staying consistently profitable over time. Because I don't really give you guys too many entries. I'll tell you guys when entries are coming up, but the entries that I actually take myself and that I show you guys, odds are they're probably going to hit, right? So there goes the liquidity right there. Back to this chart over here, there's just nothing for us to take at the moment. There's a new lower low here as price continues to, obviously move along. All right. It's 7:15 right now, so we still have a lot of time in the market. We just don't have anything for us to take right now. There's no other news events coming up anytime soon. I don't know if Fed Barr is still speaking at the moment. That's another reason why I wasn't looking to take trades, because Fed member Barr was speaking. Today's basically Fed day for the speakers. Today we had about like 4 speakers speak, or 5 actually. So we had one pre-market, I believe, and then we had one over here, Fed member Barr, and then we have Fed member Williams speaking at 9, Fed member Goldsby speaking at 11:30, and then Fed member Goldsby speaking again at 4 o'clock. So basically 4 announcements from the Fed today. It's just a lot of stuff going on today. So I'm being a little more careful with my entries here. I just don't see anything else for us to take at the moment. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or you guys want me to review anything, feel free to drop it in the chat. I think majority of you guys voted for the mentoring session to happen on Wednesday. So we'll have our mentoring session this Wednesday at 2 o'clock, basically tomorrow at 2 o'clock. But if you guys have any questions right now, or you guys want me to review anything, just let me know. I know a lot of you guys like to have the mentoring session early in the week. So if there's anything that you guys need to get off your chest, you guys need something that you need help with right now, feel free to pop in the chat. There's just nothing right now for us to take. All right, let me clean this up a little bit. Martha said, I was waiting for all that confluence, and it was the only trade I was going to take. Went to the bathroom and missed it. I know this market moves fast, Martha. Big spike right here to the downside. You could have missed that. I mean, there's a lot of entries here that came up. Pivot scalp, triple confluence, liquidity. But other than that, nothing else. So we have a lower low right here. If price pushes and breaks and closes above pivots 1 and 2 here with the buy signal, possible high level momentum scalp. Not exactly one that I'd be looking to take though, because I think the overall bias is still bearish. So let's take a look at the fundamentals again. Fundamentals are currently down 260 points. Now they're down super heavy. Let's read the breaking news right here. It says home builder sentiment pulls out of negative territory for the first time in nearly a year. Yeah, but if you guys saw what happened in Florida, I'm not sure if you guys noticed what happened in Florida. They released this new immigration law. So a lot of the undocumented immigrants pretty much left Florida, Miami specifically. So even though the home builder sentiment has pulled out of negativity, a lot of the houses right there on the East Coast are not going to be built. I don't know if you guys have been following the news, but even though people are starting to buy or not necessarily buying the houses, a lot of the new homes that are being built are not going to get built. So just some news right there from that. Home Depot over here as well. Let's see. Home Depot just forecasts weak consumer sentiment demand. Here's what it means for the rest of the economy. Yeah, Home Depot is in the Dow, so let's see what's dropping down the US30 today. So let's just refresh this real quick. Yeah, it's Home Depot. So Home Depot is pretty much weighing down US30 right now. It's down 6 points, not a lot, but it's down 6 points. So same stocks as yesterday. United Health is still down. So Home Depot, United Health, Nike, Caterpillar, Chevron, Amgen, Honeywell, Visa, et cetera. They're all pretty much down right now. So these are the stocks that are weighing down US30. Until these stocks recover, it's probably not going to shoot back up anytime soon. I mean, it might come up temporarily, but not very strongly. Okay, possible entry here for a high level momentum scalp, as we mentioned, guys. The candle would have to break and close past pivot 1 and 2, though. It's up pivot 1 right now, but not pivot 2. So we need to break and close past this blue line right there. All right, so we got the buy signal right here, guys, but it did not close past pivots 1 and 2. So, or pivot 2 in general. So no entry there again for a high level momentum scalp. Unfortunately, as you guys can see, the market's very erratic. You can see how the candles will move super quickly right here, and then it just dies down. So we had a big spike right here. I think it came down like over 300 pips. Yeah, almost 400 pips. And then a following candle right here, then pretty much dead. So what I would personally look for here is I'd probably look for a V1 variation to come up sometime somewhere around this area. That's one thing too. We haven't had any V1 variations today either. We had one over here, but that was like around that crazy movement time. But other than that, there hasn't really been too many V1 variations. There's usually a lot of V1 variations. They come up pretty often. But today you guys can see the market is kind of all over the place. Yeah, exactly. Andrew said I was thinking that too. Yeah, typically there's at least like a couple that happen right here, early in the session. But today the market's just super indecisive. Nice. Satyam said that he took the sell liquidity earlier. He's done 500 pips for the day. Thanks, Sean. Definitely Satyam. So Satyam here locked in 500 pips for the day, took a couple trades on open, and then he took the liquidity push that happened earlier for that sell. So looks like Satyam's up 500 pips for the day. Not bad. Pretty solid. Definitely. All right, some more profits over here for Maria. Nice win right there, Maria. So Maria let her trade run to full TP right there. Total profit of 11 on her small account. That's actually a really good profit. She took the liquidity push, actually, the one that dropped down that second time, looks like. Total profit of 1250 on her small account. That's actually pretty good. So I think, so let's see, she has a $175 account. Divided by 13. I'm sorry, wrong. 13 divided by 175. So she's up almost a percentage point for the day. Or no, sorry, I did that wrong. Yeah, almost 7% right there. Yeah, so Maria made a 6% profit today. So she's up 6% on her account. She's trading a $175 account. She made about $13. So I just rounded it up a little bit. She made basically a 7% gain. So great work right there, Maria. So that's amazing. So you can see right here. So Maria had like a funded account, right? Say if she had a funded account of 50K, right? Like not even the full account. If she had that, that'd be like, $3,500 profit. So nice work, Maria. Just keep up the work. If you need to stay on the smaller account, that's great too. It's good for your trade psychology. All right, we have a possible pivot scalp right here that's coming up. It's not one of the official strategies that I apply. Personally, I wouldn't take it because price is ranging right here. As you guys can see, there's a lower high right there. So it's just not a good area to trade. You don't want to trade when price is ranging like this. Like if you get a pivot scalp that breaks and closes past here, like if it breaks past the structure, then okay, different story, right? If it breaks past the structure, then all right, great. You can ride that down further. But since price is going sideways right here, not exactly the area that you want to trade in. All right. So at the moment, there's just nothing here. See, Martha said, moral of her story, if you're waiting for a trade, don't go to the bathroom. Yeah, I know. That's happened to me a lot of times, Martha, where I've been waiting for a trade, especially a scalp. And as soon as you step away, it actually goes to your trade fills, and then it ends up, or it doesn't fill, but it would have filled if you were there. And then it goes straight to your TP. It's like probably the smoothest move you'll see. It's always the ones that you miss. All right, so right here, you guys can see nothing's going on in the market. This range right here is just starting to get tighter and tighter. William said, wear a diaper. You guys are waiting for a trade. You know, it's funny. We had someone in the group that actually did that, but they were like scalping like crazy. I'm not going to mention who, but there's a guy in the group who, I don't know, he was just addicted to scalping. Like I showed him my strategies and he would do it on the 1 minute, and he would just be on his chart from like 24 hours, and he would look for every single scalp entry. Given he made a lot of money, like he made a lot of profit scalping my strategies, like every single trade that came up. But this dude, like he ended up like, I don't know. I don't even know what happened to him, but he did wear a diaper for a while. He also even had like what are those things called? Like one of those bladders you put under your thing. It's weird. Yeah, Brian said he was tired and full. Yeah, but you guys, I'm not gonna say his name, but you guys know who he is. Basically someone who took like a ton of scalps and is not around anymore. Maria said maybe he had bladder disease. No, he didn't have bladder disease, Maria. He was like just addicted to scalping. Like he was like really addicted to scalping. Some people are like that. You know, trading is addiction to some people. That's why, like I always mention, if your emotions get the best of you when you guys are trading, you should stop trading. Or if you start to act out of line, I think that's one of the things that I like to mention to people. Like if you guys are trading and it starts to mess up your relationship with like your partner or with your kids or anything, like if you start getting mad at your kids because you're losing your trades, you should probably stop trading for a bit. Or if you get mad at your, you know, because I've seen people who like trading will really consume you. It happens to a lot of people when they first start trading. Like when you first start trading and you start winning, you start to like develop this addiction where it starts to really mess with your personality. You know, I've seen a lot of people who like end up in like horrible relationships because of trading. So, you know, if you guys are new to trading, or if you guys have been trading for a while, if the trading starts to mess with your emotions, just take a break. Because if you really let it consume you, it's gonna have a horrible impact. And she said condom catheter connects to a tube and a bag. He wilded for that. Yeah, no, I've seen someone do that before too. That's crazy. Cece, over here. C6 said psychology is everything. If you don't get a grip with that, you're going to struggle consistently, destroy your account. Yeah, exactly, guys. Your trade psychology is always going to be number one. If you guys aren't in the right mindset, then don't trade. Because if you do trade, and trust me, it's happened to me. I mean, it's happened to me even recently. You know, if your trade psychology starts to get the best of you, or if you start to feel like stressed out from trading, you're going to revenge trade, and you're going to, I mean, luckily for me, whenever I revenge trade, it actually works in my favor, thankfully. But it's not always that case. Like I've revenge traded, I think like last week when the market was kind of not giving us anything. I revenge traded a lot for the liquidity pushes. Thankfully, they worked in my favor, but you know, I still get that feeling too sometimes. I've been trading for a long time. I still get the itch to overtrade or revenge trade. I think I even posted my profits from last week, right? Let me see. I think there was one day where I took a lot of trades. It was like May 11th. Yeah, it might have been that day. It might have been this day, actually, on Monday. But yeah, one of the days last week, I revenge traded. And yeah, given I made a lot of profit, I still probably should have avoided it. All right, so we got a new higher high right here. This is a little better. I like when price is kind of starting to squeeze up a little bit down here because it's going to just prepare for a breakout. So we currently have this range right here down the middle. Never mind, that range is no longer there because price just spiked up. All right. So it's got to wait a little longer. All right, nothing yet. Price is starting to push up right here. Let's take a look at the fundamentals. So the fundamentals right now, they're still down 173 points. Trying to see what stocks are kind of pushing stuff around. Home Depot is still down, Nike's still down, United Health still down. A lot of these stocks are still down. The only stock that's really pushing stuff up right now is Microsoft. It's currently up 2 points. Looks like a lot of these are starting to flatten out a bit. Looking over here at sentiment, you guys can see the sentiment here is not really choosing a direction. Before it was 52% short, now it's 52% long. So this is pretty much neutral right here down the middle. Fundamentals are still bearish, but I don't know how long they'll hold for. I think a key number to look for is if this here changes from like 100 to like below 100. So if it goes from 172 to like maybe close to like 120 or even 100, then that might start to be a shift for price to correct back up. One thing that you want to realize or remember is that US30 is a directional asset. So like typically it goes upwards and people are buying the dip. So if you see this start to change from like 172 to 100 and you start to see a bigger push right here to the upside, then people are buying the dip, right? They think price is at a discount right now and they're expecting price to push up higher. So that's something to to pretty much look out for. I mean, I probably wouldn't look to take any buys yet because everything here is still bearish. You can see on the 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, the higher time frames are still very bearish. But on the shorter time frames, there's going to be a correction here, at least on the 1 minute, right? Not a huge correction, but enough correction for people to get out who are trapped in these cells. We have a V1 variation that's currently pending right here. It's a little risky. It's rejecting off news price. We'll see where this ends up going. If price ends up continuing up higher, and there we go. I was tempted to enter that trade right there. There goes my FOMO right there. And I saw that V1 variation. I was like, man, I'm going to enter it. I was looking at my MT4 screen. As soon as I looked at it, it dropped to profit. It's too late. So there goes the V1 variation that we're looking for. It's a reversal pattern. I saw it come up right there. I was looking at my MT4. I was going to wait for it to retrace up a little bit. And then when it pulled up to this point, I was going to enter a sell for a discount and then write it down for like 100 or 200 pips. That's just the greed getting a hold of me right now. I'm starting to get a little greedy because I'm starting to see these positions come up into so there's a couple of confluences here. So there's a couple of reasons why I was looking to take the V1, guys. I saw price come up and retest the news price right here. So I saw the rejection. Plus I saw the double body. Plus I saw the pending sell signal. So I was like, okay, this is probably going to drop. I was going to wait for it to retrace a little bit because the candle was a little big, retrace, and then come down. That's where I was going to enter, but it's all good. I missed the trade. Let's see. C-Suit said that also lined up as a high level momentum scalp if a momentum signal. Yeah, exactly. C-Suit. So that's another reason there too. If there's a sell signal that closed right here, then this here would actually be a high level momentum scalp. So there's just a bunch of confluences that came up right there. Unfortunately, the sell signal did not come up. So there's no high level momentum scalp. And it looks like price might just range around here for a bit. Let's see. Akash is asking, how do you avoid FOMO when the trade comes up? I see most trades which you don't take eventually go to TP. It's just a developed skill, Akash, because for me, I scalp and I've been scalping for like years now. So I know you're new here, but I've been trading live with you guys here on these YouTube streams for like about 5 or 7 years. From my experience, I just realized that there's going to be another entry. So like, for example, right here, I missed this one right here. I could have followed into it and got into it late, but I knew that there was going to be another entry that would come up. So for me, I know there's an abundance of opportunities in the market. So whenever I miss an entry, I don't FOMO into it. I just wait for it to play out. And then I just wait for the next one. Because I've pretty much identified a lot of entries from today, the triple confluence, the pivot scalp, this V1 variation that I missed right here. You can see that there's like 5 to 10 entries that would have came up between now and market open. There's also liquidity pushes that came up. So we took the first liquidity push. I didn't take the second or third one. They all hit TP. So, there's a lot of different opportunities there. So like, you could wait for it and then you'll end up hitting it at some point. So like you could miss like 5 entries and then that 6th entry can come up and that'll be your winner. So yeah, for the most part, the FOMO doesn't really, it doesn't take control of me as it used to, or like how it does for a lot of other people. Because I'll see a lot of other people too. A trade will come up like this V1 variation. So this V1 variation came up right here, right? This is what I see happens to a lot of people. The V1 variation comes up, they wait for the pullback doesn't happen. And it's already in TP, right? What typically happens? People get FOMO at this point and they enter the sell position. Thankfully, it usually follows through a little further and they still get to get out, but they get lucky. That's developing a bad habit, right? Because they FOMO into the trade, they hit their TP and they think, okay, maybe they figured out a new strategy. Odds are they didn't figure out a new strategy. They just got lucky on that trade. But a lot of my strategies here, they follow up on each other. So for example, here, there's a V1 variation. If we get a sell signal right here, it's kind of too far down. But if we got this sell signal like somewhere down the middle over here, like one of these upper candles, then odds of it continuing down are very likely because all my strategies they complement each other. So like, I was going to try to find an example. Oh, so for example, right here, right, there's a V1 variation double body rejection right there. It's followed by a buy signal right here. So you guys see the confluence reversal pattern into continuation. So like if you miss the first one, there's usually a second entry that comes up. And then, so if you miss this first one right here for a V1, you could typically get in on the next entry right here, which would be a momentum scalp, if that's what you want to consider it. So I usually have a follow-up strategy. If one comes up, there's usually a follow-up after it, and it's all in confluence with each other. Thanks, Pablo. Pablo said the streams are amazing. Thanks. Yeah, no, definitely, Pablo. It's good to see you here because I know you're here on and off every once in a while, but it's good to see you back here. You pop back in every once in a while. It's always good to see old faces because I've been trading live with you guys for so long that, people come and go. People will come, learn my strategies, go off and do their own thing, be profitable, come back and just reconnect. So it's always good to see a lot of old faces that come back into the group, over the years. Glenn's asking, can we make a Sean FOMO official strategy? I mean, there's technically a couple of them that you guys probably notice. Entering any trade late is technically a FOMO entry because whenever you enter these strategies, you should be entering right away. Like for example, right here, we have a pivot scalp, right? I wouldn't have entered this because I mentioned prices ranging, but if you want to enter it late, you can technically enter it late right here and it'd be a FOMO entry. So any strategy where you enter after it plays out is technically a FOMO entry because you didn't make the decision to take it right away. So like if you're waiting for that next FOMO entry, then it would just be considered FOMO, right? Because if you're really confident about it, you would have taken it right away. Satyam said, I want to code his brain. JK Brock said his brain would have loads of NDA clauses, right? And all the secrets from scalping. CJ said, I'm 3,000 from passing verification and I'm scared to take another trade today. Yeah, if you don't feel comfortable, CJ, then just wait for tomorrow, right? You got a whole week ahead of you. It's barely Tuesday, so you got a long time until Friday. You got a lot of time to get that 3,000. That 3,000 is basically like, 1 or 2 trades, maybe 3. If you're going for 100 pips. Yeah, Andrew mentioned there's another pivot scalp right here that just came up. I see that too. It's just prices ranging right here. So it's a little bit of I mean, price might come down and then retest this area. So it does have space right here. This is what I like sometimes. If you guys do get a pivot scalp, I like when there's space for you to reach the next zone, because if price does continue to drop, it's enough for it to basically at least push past your TP and test this area down here. But the consolidation right here is not great. I don't like when price consolidates like this. Like typically when you take a pivot scalp, you want it to hit right away. Like for example, right here, right? We had a pivot scalp, and then literally on the next candle, it blasted right straight through to your TP. Like that's what you want when you take these types of entries. You don't really want it to like go sideways for too long. Well, let's take a look. Everything here is still pretty bearish. So looking over here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, on the lower time frames, everything is bearish. Price is bearish because price is below the pivots. Trend meter is red. Pivots are angling down. Everything's pretty much pointing towards a sell. Looking over here on the higher time frames, we have the same exact thing. 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour time frames. Price is pretty much bearish because price is below the pivots. Trend meter is red. Pivots are angling down. So pretty much, I mean, price will probably come down. And it looks like it's coming down right there. It's just a slow turn to the downside. Let's take a look at the fundamentals real quick. Fundamentals are still down pretty heavily. They actually dropped down even more. They're down 242 points. The problem with this here is that when you guys start to see where it's so heavily one-sided, this is where it becomes a little risky, because if everything is one-sided like this and everybody hops onto the sell side, then the market's not going to make it that easy for everybody to win, right? So you should never chase the market. If the market's dropping like this super heavily, it's probably best to sit out and wait for it to stabilize a bit and then catch the correction to the downside. So I think that's kind of what's happening right here. It looks like the market's flat. It's nothing going on. Market's super flat right now. It's kind of just choosing. It's waiting to choose a direction. We got some new news right here. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman testifies before the US Senate. A lot of news going on with this AI stuff, like the ChatGPT, if you guys have noticed. Like, I think the Writers Guild is like on strike right now, right? Because ChatGPT is pretty much putting them out of business. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, AI is the technology that's going to come out of AI is pretty incredible. It's just crazy what can happen. All right, so there's nothing else here, guys, at the moment for us to look at or even take. I think there's an updated zone here. Let me just refresh this. So it's 7:42 right now, guys, getting close to 8 o'clock. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I don't see any other entries coming up anytime soon. Unfortunately, the market is just kind of going sideways at the moment, so it's not looking too good for entries here. Last thing you want to do is enter a trade and then price just goes sideways for like the next hour or so, which seems like it may be the case here. Yeah, exactly. Andrew said, watch it blast on next. Yeah, I could see that happening. Blast right through and then retest this area, because the area for test is going to be down here, which would actually blast through the TP like you mentioned, right? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that becomes the case, especially with the news that's happening right now. I think the Fed's starting to speak soon too as well, right? So let's see. The Fed speaks at 9 o'clock, so it's still a while, but he is going to be speaking later today. Okay, let's see. Question from Glenn. Glenn is asking, hey, Shauna, can I ask why the April 26th liquidity push was a sell, not a buy? I was a little confused when I back tested. Maybe I labeled my liquidity wrong. You know, since we're not doing anything, guys, I can check that. There's nothing here right now, guys, so don't worry. You're not gonna miss out on anything. There's no areas of liquidity here. So let me just go back real quick to April 26th. And let me see what Glenn is referring to. I don't even know if I can go back that far, Glenn. April 26th. Actually, we could. Okay. All right, so let's go over here to April 26th, 6:30. All right, so I'm just going to back test the liquidity push for this day, guys. Glenn's asking a question about this move here. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take everything off the chart so it's not a mess. Weekly momentum up. Here is the high-low indicator. Let's go to the daily. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, let's see. So I'm marking up the liquidity from April 26th, guys. Glenn's asking like, why the entry was a sell. So this is basically what I do every morning. I just mark up liquidity and that's pretty much it. It's not too much, not really much to it. I use a high-low indicator here to identify untested high lows, or is typically where I'm identifying liquidity. The reason why I'm identifying this as liquidity is because this is typically where people place their stop losses, whether they're entering a buy or a sell, right? They could be entering a buy or a sell. And I'm just pretty much identifying where people are going to get stopped out. So I want to enter where people get stopped out. So I'm basically looking for people to get destroyed in the market. Okay, so there goes the areas of liquidity right there, Glenn. So I have the areas of liquidity marked up. Let's see where price goes. So liquidity was down here, Glenn. That's why it was a sell. See that? So I don't remember like what we took here. I don't think we took it right away. I think we waited a little bit because it was overextended. I think that's the case. And we waited for it to come back down, right, for a second retest. Yeah, so there goes liquidity right there. I remember this move because we were watching it and price was like way overextended. It kept dropping for a while right here. And then it touched it right here, but I didn't enter the trade because it was just, it was overextended. So I waited for it to retrace a little bit, made the later entry right here, and then I hit my TP. So if I go back over here to the 26th, yeah, so I took the sell right there, right? I took the liquidity push somewhere. I don't know where I took it, but I did take a sell right there. And I locked in. Yeah, I locked in 1,720. So does that make sense, Glenn? Because I mean, it's impossible for it to be a buy. There's no liquidity up there. The area of liquidity was like way up here. So a market open right here at 630. And you can see that there's no liquidity up here at all. I mean, even if you look back right here, there's no liquidity here at all. So does that answer your question, Glenn? So like, guys, if you guys have any questions like that, you guys can ask me whatever questions you guys want. I mean, I can help you guys out. It's not a big deal. I can pull up any entry any day and I can show you exactly, how things are done. So, all right, guys, I don't think there's any other entries here at the moment. I mean, price is kind of just going back and forth. There's nothing for us to take here at the moment. If there's anything that you guys need help with, feel free to put your questions in the chat. My job here is to help you guys out. I'm here to help you help me. So if you see anything that you need help with, or there's any confusion, help me get better as well. So yeah, Glenn, I guess you probably marked up your liquidity wrong. Okay, so let's go back to that right there again. Let me go back over here to the 630. candle. So Glenn said, I did mark up the nearest 10-minute higher high. Let me see where you marked it up at. So this right here wouldn't be established yet, Glenn. You need it would need to be established before you take that. So like in order for a candle to be established, it needs to be pushed over at least like 4 or 5 candles, right? So that's probably where you, yeah. I can see where you would have seen that buy right there. Because in order for these candles to be established, because the reason for that is, so let me show you real quick. Okay, so here's an example right here, right? So see how this candle right here has a high? The reason why you want that space is because right here there's a high, right? If any candle within like 4 or 5 candles passes through it, it's going to repaint, right? Because that's no longer the higher high. So look at this next candle right here. See how this candle pushes past it? That higher high is no longer there. So you wouldn't mark that up. That's why you have to wait for the candle to be established. You can't just mark up every higher high, because if you did that, you would never have an actual higher high, right? Or a lower low. Like for example, right here. See how there's a higher low right there? Price is still active. Like, so the thing with this indicator that you guys see here, like a lot of people complain about indicators being laggy. This isn't really laggy because it's active with price. So like, for example, here, it gives you the higher low at the specific time period. When price pushes past it right there, this is no longer the higher low. This is now the higher low. So yeah, that's why you wouldn't mark up. That's why I don't really mark up anything that's too close. If it's like too close, like the previous candle, I'm not going to mark it up because I know it's going to get knocked. It's not going to be the actual higher high, especially if it's a candle right before open, Glenn. So if the candle is right before open, then you definitely do not want to mark that up, because if you mark that one up, if candle spikes up on the next candle, then you would just skip it, or it would just get retested and it would establish a new higher high. Kind of similar to what happened from today's entry. If you guys remember the entry from today. So we had the low right here, or where did I put that at? Kind of similar to the entry from today, right? So we had the entry right here. It wasn't necessarily too established. Like for example, I could have marked up this lower low right here, but I didn't mark it up because it was too close. I marked up this one over here, but the problem with this was that it was a news candle. So yeah, exactly. All right, Brock. Brock's profits over here, total profit of 2,118 for the day. Nice work, Brock. All wins for the day. Solid work right there. We got Kevin over here. Nice work, Kevin. Kevin's total profit of 30,214 for the day. All full TPs. Nice work, Kevin. Yeah, no, I figured you were still on the YouTube. Which is all good. Good profits right there. Let's see. Looks like you took yeah, not sure if you took buys or sells. I'm assuming you took sells. But yeah, right there on Hanko. Solid profit right there. We got Patricia over here, total profit of 1,200 for the day. Nice work, Patricia. Straight win. And I think that's it. If you guys have more profits to post up, feel free to post them up. C6 said Sean's about to check profits. Yeah, so here's C6 over here, total profit of 4,317 for the day, all wins. Here's C6's second account, total profit of 5,167 for the day, all wins as well. And here's C6's third account, total profit of 4,367 for the day, all wins. So great work right there, C6. We got Kip over here, total profit of 5,100 for the day, all wins. And I think that's about it. Kip again over here, total profit of 6,167 for the day. So great work, guys. Looks like everyone's pretty much done for the day. If there's any other profits that you guys want to share, if you guys want to post up, or if there's any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I think I might be done for the day. I don't really see anything else here for me to look at or to take. Yeah, let me see. Gotcha. Yeah, so Kevin took all sells today. That's smart. Took it in the direction of the trade or the direction of the buy. So solid. I'm gonna take this off right here. Andrew said he got his W for the day. Need 4 more to pass his first challenge. Thanks, Sean. Woke up envisioning Sean saying all wins. I know, right? Every day that's our goal, guys. All wins, or if not all wins, at least profit. So, all right, guys. I think that's it for now. Let me see. Maria's asking, do you believe it's a good week to start a new challenge? I mean, anytime is a good day, Maria. I get that question every day, and there's no good time to start, right? You can start tomorrow and miss a great day today. Like, for example, it's crazy because if you try to time the market, it's never gonna work in your favor. If you time the market, guys, you're probably gonna have a horrible start. So don't ever time the market. Just take your challenge whenever you're ready. It's no, you never know if it's a good week or a bad week. I wish it was that easy to predict the week to know if it's good. Like, for example, NFP, right? NFP is usually not a great week to trade. But if you guys saw, I made like the most of my profits from NFP, I think. Like, everybody's scared to trade during NFP because they're like, oh, it's NFP, I'm going to wait till next week. Guys, look at my profit right here. I locked in like, how much did I lock in during NFP? I don't even trade Fridays, and I locked in so much profit on NFP. So, I mean, scared money don't make no money, guys. That's my saying, right? If you guys are scared to trade, then, or I mean, not even being scared to trade. If you guys are too nervous to trade, then just don't trade. If you feel confident, then start whenever. Because that's just how it is, guys. Like, you guys can't time the market. Like, for me, I usually don't trade Fridays. I traded on Friday here and I made like so much profit, thankfully. But yeah, it's all about trade psychology, guys. If you guys are comfortable and you feel 100%, then do your challenge, whether it's a Monday, that's another thing too. A lot of people wait for like Monday to start their challenge. Monday is probably the worst day to start your challenge. But, for whatever reason, people think if they start on Monday, they're going to start off great. There's no telling what the market's going to do on Monday. If you want to start tomorrow, it's Wednesday, start a challenge. If not, then wait until you're ready. All right, one question from Vince over here. Vince is asking if the 753 candle is a high level momentum scalp. Let me check that real quick. 753. Yeah, so I mean, technically this would be a high level momentum scalp, not one that I would necessarily want to look into. Vince, because here, let me show you real quick. So the reason why I wouldn't have looked into that trade right there is because price was in a really tight range. Right, this is why I've been avoiding the market pretty much for the past hour. So yeah, this right here would technically satisfy the criteria for a high level momentum scalp. There's a higher high right there. There's a sell signal here that broke and closed past pivots 1 and 2. But let me just see what it looked like. Yeah, no, it's an entry. The main reason I wouldn't take it though is because prices. So if you guys remember before my analysis of these high level momentum scalps, whenever it's not like a direct push, I wouldn't take it. Like, for example, if it was something like this right here, Vince, where we had, I know there's no entry here, but if there was an entry here, say we had a higher high right there, and then say this candle right here was a sell signal, right? Like, if we got a direct push like that, I know there's not one there, but if there was a direct push like that, then for sure I would take that entry. Right? Because this right here is just indicating that we have a reversal from this top side and price is going to come down. And of course, right there, it would hit TP. Comparing this to like this candle over here that you just mentioned, you don't know where price is going to go. There's like no direction here. You can see how price is literally going sideways right here. And this might not be common sense to like a lot of people, but for me, this is a pattern that I see all the time. Right here, price is just going sideways. It's not a good time to make entry, because if you do make an entry right here, price can easily shift right the other way. So right there, it wouldn't have been a good entry. So yeah, technically it would be a high level momentum scalp if you're following the strategy just plainly and not looking at market structure, how market's moving. But for me personally, I wouldn't have taken the entry because price was just consolidating around this area here, and it looks a lot easier to identify too with the zones on both sides. So all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. It's getting close to 8 o'clock. Yeah, I think that's it. So all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Just a reminder, we're going to be having our mentoring session tomorrow. Not today, we're having it tomorrow. So if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to reach out. You guys can email me, Sean@KodiKaiTrades, or message me on Telegram. Also, if you guys are new here and you guys want access to these indicators and these strategies, just go to the website, kodikaitrades.com, click on unlock your free access right here, and you'll get access to pretty much the course and the indicators if you guys sign up to the strategies. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back.